Okay, let's open things up here with Locomotive Werks. First thing, I've got the cards on top of here. They're supposed to actually go into this deck slot here, but I found that really annoying to try to paw through them and find them. And I see no reason why they wouldn't just be sitting up here. Okay, but one of them, and I'll put the discards here or somewhere, one of them, the Saxonia, has to be auctioned. But before I do that, I get to roll the single die to see how much. You know, I didn't explain that in the rules. When there is a number here, basically the first person who buys one of these, it moves over here, so it becomes new demand. I kind of did, but I didn't explain it when I explained demand, because that's a different segment of the turn. Anyway, we're going to roll a die for that, see how much demand there is for that first kind of train. When somebody buys that, demand for the next train shows up, and that demand for that first train will kind of determine how many people are interested in picking it up, because, well, it's a fairly low number, which means you buy one of these for $4 and 3 more to fill this up is 6 more bucks. That it costs you $10. You've just fulfilled the order, and that has just created the likely bid for the Saxonia. You see, because 4 plus 6, 10, says whoever gets the Saxonia will, at $4, will be able to fulfill all these orders, spend all their money, and of course they force other people into other trains. The problem with it? Well, forcing other people into other trains means this is going to come out earlier. How much money do you get off the Saxonia by controlling that? Hard to tell. You don't know what's here. So I'm going to do one of my auctions, which basically involves people rolling dice to try to decide how much they want to spend on something. And it'll just be, I guess, you know, a standard auction. And they don't give rules for the auction. I just use the 1830 model here. I'll start with this guy, and he can bid any amount he likes and go around. He's already got the first player card, so he's got the most to risk by this, so it kind of makes sense to do it that way. But alternatively, it could be a sealed bid. It could be, you know, just an open auction. It just says handle it with an auction. And when I think auction, I actually think fully open. Fully open is indeed the model I chose to represent, and I use different die rolling techniques for different models. With the fully open model, 5 opened up with a bid of 2, and actually nobody thought it was worth more than that. Money's very valuable in this game. It could mean an extra sale, like an extra $2 could mean an extra sale of one of these. You know, letting him have 2 extra bucks, not following the Saxonia model, all seemed reasonable. So he picks this up. Now remember, this doesn't count towards those dice. And he's just trumped the 1 player. So we go to the first step in the game, and I'm going to need to have the rules kind of open so I can see this, just to remind myself. I like having a sequence of play in front of me. Now he's got the first shot. The only thing he could buy, because he's the first player, is the Adler. So he'll spend his $4 on that. Grab one of these, and he gets a production chip on it. Now we jump over to the 1 player who knows he's not going to get a shot at this. Ooh, this moves here. And we get a new die for the dash. And by the way, this is the 5-player game is the only one that works this way, where you don't start out with a train. I'm not sure which is more interesting, but like I said, Clearclaw has suggested that only the 5-player game really is perfect. That the others probably aren't even worth dealing with. I don't know. This goes here. Okay, 2nd player, same situation really. $8 he gets this. $4 he would be able to up his production by 1, And that actually, you know, I lied about my numbers here because you start with a production. So actually 8 is the amount that would be spent. $4 to produce the first one and $4 for the next 2. And nobody was going to spend $6 on the train, I don't think. Okay, so this one costs 8 plus 4 is 12 to be able to get an extra production. So I think it's worth buying one of them. For $8. That gets a marker here, and you can see these things are running out pretty quickly as we go to the yellow one. They do not do this in 2, I'll tell you that. Got a lot of these available, and the 2-player, yeah, this is going to be a very, very different game. The 2-player gets to look. Now, he knows $6, this guy can only buy one more. So the question here is, do you want to go for the cheaper route, or do you want to go for this thing where you only have enough money to make one engine and get $3? He's going to go for the cheaper route. Oops, that was 5, 6, 7, 8, and buy another one of these. Okay. Now that doesn't change the dice at all. That puts it to him. Now, he's already at the point where there are a lot of these used up. In fact, probably at least as much as there is production. So he's kind of got to go with this more expensive route. Throws his $12 in, buys a train. That moves this die, rolls a die for the blue train. There's 6 of them available. Nobody's going to be buying that many of them. Now here's where things get icky. This guy's only got $14. However, there's still some flexibility on this. There's no way that's going to get filled up. So you can't buy the blue train, but buying a yellow train makes sense. And one thing I noticed about this game, at least in 2, and probably in any amount, you want to spend your money. It's like 18XX. You got to invest your money to make money. Although there may be times when there's nothing out there that you want to make the choice on. All right. Now we go to excess production capacity, and we again start with the owner of the sacks. He wants to spend all his money, and he'll buy. He doesn't want to spend all his money. He wants to build up to the production capability. Now, he could spend more and build more, but you know what? He's going to get that option later, and no reason to commit money at this point unless you're going to pay taxes on it. So he wants to build 2 more of these. That'll cost him $4. And we get an extra. Unfortunately, there's no, the number markers are only 2s and 1s. That's good for making change for the die rolls, but you kind of wish you had more options. Okay, so that was his purchase over here. This guy can buy up to 2 more, he says. He doesn't have that kind of money, but he'll buy another one. Over here. Why does he have a red? Oh. Okay. He doesn't want to buy anymore because he sees there's 2 of these taken up. He's not going to make money off of... He's not going to be able to make money this turn off of the next one. Might as well hold that decision. Although, if he makes $2 off this train, no, that doesn't put him above 10. There might be a reason to buy additional trains to avoid taxation, because he's going to get to use those. Okay, on to this guy. He certainly does not have money to build a yellow, nor does he. We've already done him. So now we go to production. Nope. Yeah, production. So now this guy gets the first sale because he has the Saxonia. Now he gets $1 for the Saxonia without dealing with the dice. And he transfers 3 of these dice at $1 each. And we'll move these off. Not that it's important at this point in the game, but later on you don't want to resell. So I'll just do the Saxonia separate because, you know, at the beginning of the turn, because it doesn't really affect anything else. So he's going to get $4 for that. And now we go over here. And he can sell 2 of these also for $4. This guy will sell 1 of these for $2. Oh, I'm losing track. 2 of these were sold, so that goes down. 1 of those is sold, so that moves there. We got 1 yellow to sell, which is only $3. And that moves the chit off and drops this die down. And another yellow to sell. Not that this matters too much, giving him an additional $3. Okay. All right, all the production's done. Now, if there was any remaining production to be sold, they would come off the board one at a time. You would keep going through the players. They would each get their shots to do it. And now, everybody counts their money. 6. This is the hard part. 8, 5, 5, 8. Okay. 5 looks like it's on the low end. Nobody's got enough for a tax. I gotta look up the rules. A new player order. The player, in case of a tie, the tied players remain in the same relative order. Okay. Yeah, we had to keep the same card in 2. So, okay, so this is the first of the 5s. So he gets a 1. And the second 5 here will be getting the 2. And no, I won't do this on camera most of the time. Now we're on 6, which gets a 3. And the 8. The question is, does he pick up the 4 card from the Saxonia? I think so. I think relative player order between these two, he's got the Saxonia, so it counts for this as well. Okay. Now, we're on the market demand phase. We do the greens first. There's only one company. We add a die, and we roll 2 dice for the demand for the next turn. Same with red. Lots of red available. Same with yellow. Now yellow has filled up its demand. Not all trains have the same demand, and as you get later, you start seeing they have some very big demands available. Which is important because the dice pools can get quite large, and everybody kind of can conglomerate on them. There's not this push to continue getting the trains on. Okay. In fact, this only has 1 demand, but there's only 1 train for it. The problem with that is you're playing this crapshoot. Once you start buying more than 1 of them, you don't know if you're going to make money off of it. But somebody's got to buy it. All right, that is the end of the first turn. I think I'm going to do the second turn on the same video in the same detail and load them up together. Okay, let's look at the first option for the guy who's going to be going first, our Saxon holder, at least for a little bit longer. He has 3 trains, could get the capacity to buy 2 more, to sell 2 more of these. If he sells 2 more, that'll cost him $4. That probably works out well. So he's not going to start this blue train. It's also to his disadvantage. But he thinks he's going to lose the Saxonia fairly soon anyway. People are going to buy new trains. People are going to push them out. So we go over to the 1, which is over here. Not a lot of money in hand. Wow. 8 here. Now, he doesn't have enough money to either buy more trains here or buy this. He could buy one of these. Interesting option. It'll make him some money, but how much? That's hard to tell because it doesn't look like anybody's going to be moving these trains real soon. Will it make $4 back? Probably not. Will it do anything? No, because this guy's going to go first and be able to sell those. So he'll pass as well. Geez, nothing's happening. I thought we were going to get some exciting decisions here. Over to this guy. With $5 in hand. That's not enough to buy one of those. Same situation. He doesn't want to buy the Adler. 3, $6 in hand. He has enough to buy another one of his trains. That's what he wants to do. And nobody has the money to buy a new big train, but there is the possibility that somebody could have bought one of these. Unfortunately, the only guy who really could have was this guy, because this guy can fill out his portfolio. So, no one's buying a new technology here. And now we go to production. We know this guy wants to buy production. He wants to get up to 5, which is 2 more. 2 times 2 is 4. And he'll drop that into place. And he gets 2 more production on here. Over to the 1 player. $5 is less than what he can build. Over here, $4 will allow him to get another one of these. Over to the 4 player. No, he's the 4. Over to the 5 player. He also can buy one of these, upping his production. Actually, he could buy another one. What do we have? 3, 6. We can fill that out. Sure. No really good opportunities to make decisions because nobody had the money to build a new train. Everything's just kind of dictated by the dice at this point in the game. Okay. So now we go on to production, which is really just selling off the dice. Let's run through it again just to get a mood for it. Okay, $1 for the Saxonia. I'm not going to worry about, again, the ordering of that doesn't matter, so it doesn't matter when I sell that. But his other train, and I'll tilt it to remind me, his other train, he's got 5 pips on it. Now, he's not competing with anyone, so it doesn't really matter. But what he does is, in terms of technically, in terms of how the game should do, he moves 4 because there's a 4 die here. And he's given 4 more bucks. He still has production available. If someone else had one of these, they could have sold one of them. Nobody wanted to compete with him, though. It just doesn't seem as valuable as some of the other options. This guy could have bought one. Might have made sense for him or him. But they have money to invest in their own trades. Okay, so now we go to the 1 player, and that is our Bayer Schoner. He's going to sell one of those at $3. It comes off the biggest die. He's back up to 8. Or no, he's up to the 8. The 2 player, same situation. Sells a Bayer, comes off the biggest die. And that makes him $3. 3rd player. He can sell all 3 of these because the biggest die is a 6. And he gets $6 for that. And we're seeing everybody's, whoops, not that kind of 6. We're seeing everybody's kind of at 8 now. The Bearish is gonna, or the Saxon owner is gonna be higher. 4 is him. 5. He's got 3, that exactly matches a die. So this transfers over and he gets his, he's falling behind, his $6. Why is he falling behind? Because he had less last turn. Okay. And now we go back to the start again. And everybody else has sold all their production except for this guy. He sells his final one here and gets another buck. And now we count. And unfortunately for him, he's at $10. Everyone else is below 10. So he owes a buck in treasury back to the treasury. And now we count player order again. This guy at 6 gets the 1 card. Everybody else is at 8 except for him. So 8. This guy was number 1. So he gets the 2 card. Yeah, this is tough to do with. He gets the 3 card. He gets the 4 card. And our Saxon owner, because of his high amount of money, gets the 5 card. And at this point, having the most money may not be that big an advantage, because now you're getting the last chance to get an opportunity. A buck or 2 advantage at this point, is it worth that? Well, it's hard to tell. The game is in very fluid position right now. But later on, having piles and piles of money, it's probably worth going last for. But it's not worth it if you're only a slight advantage, because it is a powerful catch-up mechanism here. Okay, now we're going to check demands again. Things haven't really changed. So green gets a 3rd die that it can pick up. And now it's at the end of its possible demand. It's never going to get bigger than that. Red also gets a 3rd die and also is at the end of its demand. And a crappy roll, which sucks because there's a couple of people with more development there. We've got 6 development. There's only 6 pips there. There is a possibility to compete for these, though. So this guy goes first. He can buy the 3. This guy goes second and takes the 2. There's still 1 pip and he has 1 left. But if this guy buys another one, then he can undercut him and sell another one of those. So there's some interesting little abilities to eat up the market by having the earlier card and by the dice falling correctly for you. Yellows they keep the same dice because they're already at their maximum and they're not growing. Interestingly, the demand for the future remains the same no matter what. That kind of intrigues me, but okay. All right, that puts us through the 2nd turn, and I am going to load this up. I know it's a little shorter than some of my videos tend to be for playthrough pieces, but I like to start my beginning one this way. Later on, we'll go a little bit more abstract, a little bit from a higher level in later videos, but I will zoom in on when some really interesting decisions start happening.